morning.
Good morning.
I'm a very grateful recovering alcoholic. I was just going to start going to announcements. Not today. Today is Laity Sunday, and for those of you who don't know what laity means, laity merely refers to the people of the church who are not clergy. So for us, that's everyone not named Martha. And when we were going around being grateful this morning, I'm surprised you didn't say that you were grateful. Look at her just sit there and smile. She's not sick. She doesn't have laryngitis. She said the other day, a couple weeks ago, she said, okay, it's Laity Sunday. Bob, would you share the message? And evidently I said yes. So I do think, though, that it's important that we recognize and acknowledge each other and what an important part of the church that we truly are. I don't think this morning could have been any more descriptive. We often tend to refer to the church, we look up to the pastor, and we kind of visually identify the church from the top down. And in some religious traditions, there's a very distinct role between clergy and laity. In our tradition, the Methodist tradition, not so much, and even in our church, the Recovery Church, those lines are blurred even further. Blur a lot of lines. But if you look at what happens here on a Sunday, Martha describes worship as a celebration of the people. And it really truly is. From this, and this isn't meant to take away anything from our pastors, but the doors are opened, the coffee is made, communion is set, everything is done by us. We greet at the door, we provide music, we share our hopes and our concerns with each other, we run around and collect money from each other to try to keep the building open. We come up and we serve communion. And we've learned over time that the more we do, the more we become. And so when we are allowed to share our gifts, when we're allowed to bring what we have to this party, because it is a party, we grow. And the other reason that it's important that we all be involved is because there's a recognition that each and every one of us is holy, that we all carry the word, and not that Martha's word is any better, maybe more educated, but things that I heard this morning were just extremely touching. And so if we get involved in this process, we may come in the beginning as I'll call it a consumer of faith. I come in, I put my X dollars in the pot, and I want to be entertained for an hour, and then I want to be able to go home and not worry about it. But as we participate in this process, we learn how to become a creator of faith. We create our own faith. We create and share that faith with other people. And we grow as a result of that process. We've had a lot of really spectacular pastors in this community. Joe, Dick, Brian, and now Martha. And each one of them have brought their own unique gifts to us. And what's been wonderful is those gifts that were unique, they brought to us at the right time, at the time we needed them. And so we've just been tremendously blessed by our pastors. And I've been honored to talk to visiting clergy who've come in, they want to see what we're doing. And how does this work? They've heard about this Recovery Church thing. And they want to see how it works and what it does. And there's one word they always use to describe this church, and that is, it's so real. And that's not a description of what's happening up here. That's a description of what you bring to this. And we were blessed to have Bishop O come and share a message or share a service with us when he was first reassigned to the Minnesota conference. And afterwards he looked at me and said, "This is what church is supposed to be." And the beauty is we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do it. We just seem to do it. There's a line in the song, there's something going on, something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. But it's beautiful. And I had a really hard time editing my conversation about you for two reasons. One, I really think there's so much to say, and I think there's so much that we should celebrate from all the things that we do as a community. And that comes from us. That doesn't come from the direction of the clergy. That comes from your hearts and minds and feet who make this stuff happen. And the other reason I need to edit is because there have been people who suggested that I needed a new 12-step group for people who talk too much. Called On and On and On. That's for my wife. I should probably get to the gospel, because it really was the gospel reading, because it really was a good, helpful story. Basically told us to take what we've learned and share it with others. Become an evangelist. I have to be honest, I struggle with that word evangelist. I think that we have beaten each other over the head for far too long with the God of my understanding and wanting it to be the God of your understanding. And I don't think I'm alone, but I am one of those people who don't like to be told what to do. I don't want to be shit on. When I was at the University of Minnesota, that was the time of what we called Jesus freaks. And one of them came up and asked me one day, "Do you have a close personal relationship with Jesus Christ?" And I said, "No, and I don't want one," and I turned around and walked away. And, I don't know where that negative attitude, where that contempt prior to investigation comes from, and that perhaps it's from my past. I think a lot of it is from the self-dialogue that I had with myself, of knowing that things were terribly wrong in my life, that things needed to be fixed. But I didn't want to hear the answer. The addiction spoke louder than that plea for help. But thankfully, through a series of situations, I was introduced to a group of people that I thought were just absolutely amazing evangelists. It was a group of recovering alcoholics. And they were talking about these 12 steps and this Bill Wilson and all that kind of stuff. And they never told me what I had to do. They told me what they had done. And they shared with me their strength, their hope, and their experience. And through that process, I was introduced to a power greater than myself. I was introduced to a God of my understanding. And it was an amazing process. And I wanted to take that another step further. And I've had the opportunity to become part of this community, to where, amazingly, the same thing happened. When I come here, no one tells me what to believe. No one tells me what I have to do. I don't have to stand up and profess a faith that I maybe don't totally understand. But we come with what we have, we share with each other, and through that, I have grown tremendously in my faith and in my belief. And if that Jesus freak came up to me today and said, "Do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ?" I would say, "Yeah, I do, and it's personal." And that's where I struggled, because that's where my notes end. Because it's how am I to stand here and tell you how to evangelize the word? I don't think anyone can do that. I think that we all come to this place, come to our beliefs in our own unique ways. And we all have a different understanding of our God. Martha's is different than mine. We get along wonderfully. So I think that we have to seek and find our own voice. And how is it that I can best share the word? And when I look at this community, and this morning was a perfect example, and Paul, you touched on it. We come together, and the way you care for each other is absolutely amazing. The love you share with each other is profound. Jim's wife, Kathy, had surgery. I had 2 people call me and ask for her phone number or address because they wanted to get in touch with her. I was just back in the nursery, and there was a question asked of the girls, "Where's your mom? I haven't seen her for a couple of weeks." We are living the word. As Martha just said to me before I got up here, we are living the word of love. And so I think there is a universal truth that we can share when we go out to evangelize. And that universal truth is the message of love. We can share that with each other through our actions, not our words. And that's what you do, is you share it in your actions. I hope you appreciate how profound that is. Okay, I'm going to try. I am emotional. I like to quote Dick Rice, it's the older I get, the closer my bladder is to my heart. And most of you know my daughter Joanna.
Yeah.
And a number of years ago, it was around Easter time. And the kids were raised Catholic, and she was preparing to go to Mass. And I was always trying to be supportive of Nancy raising the kids Catholic. And she would start whining about, "I gotta go to Mass, and it's always crowded, and no place to sit down, and meals in." And she was whining about it, and so I said, "Well, you can always come to church with me." And she said, "Well, at least if I went to your church, I could find a place to sit down." And then she changed gears emotionally. And I can never say this without the emotion. She changed gears, and she said to me, and I'm going to use her words because they're the important words. She said, "I could go to your church with half my face missing. And being the good listener I am, I interrupted, and I said, and they'd still love to hear you sing." And she said, "No, that's not at all what I mean. I could come to your church with half my face missing. I could be the lowliest crack whore on this planet, and they'd still love me." That's nothing anyone had ever said to her. That's what she experienced by walking in the door. You gave this young woman the gift of unconditional love. If that's not evangelism, I don't know what is. Maybe we need to change the sign on the front of the church that we are an evangelist church, just maybe not the kind that you used to see. And with that, I'll pass.